In order to maximize system density and capability in Dell 12th generation PowerEdge systems, we made some changes to the chassis, which in turn led to a rail design different from our previous servers. I'm Chris Wiesenhutter, an Enterprise Solutions Specialist at Dell. I'm going to detail the features and functions of our 12th generation 1U and 2U servers sliding rail kits and walk you through how to install the systems, including the R620 and R720 into your rack. To provide greater system density and functionality, the widths of these systems have increased over the previous generation. The width of the rails has been reduced to accommodate this change. They retain the strength and robustness of their predecessors. The rails pass all of the UL safety requirements for servicing the system in the rack. While many systems support static or fixed mount rails in addition to the sliding rails, our focus will be on the sliding rails. We've made several enhancements to our sliding rail kits. First, the mounting interface. The ReadyRails 2 sliding rails have one or more removable pins and a sheet metal latch assembly in place of the die-cast piece used on the previous generation. This change makes it possible to install Dell rails directly into threaded hole racks by reconfiguring the mounting brackets. Just remove the pins and the latch assembly to expose the through holes for standard pan head screws. After that, you can install the rails by providing the appropriate screws for your threaded hole rack. For square hole and round hole racks, the rails still offer the same quick and easy toolless installation and removal offered by our previous design. Once the rails are mounted in the rack, installing your system in the slim rails does require some care and precision, and we'll show you how to do this in just a moment. It's easier if two people install the 1U system, although it can be done with just one if needed. The 2U system requires two people for installation due to its heavier weight. The installation technique applies to both 1U and 2U systems. While holding the front and the back ends of the system, tilt the front end upward slightly and then lower the rear rail standoffs on the chassis into the rearmost J-slots on the rails. Ensure that both rear standoffs are properly engaged with the rails before adjusting or releasing your grip on the back end of the system. Check the window on the sides of both rails to confirm that the heads of the standoffs are visible. Slowly lower the front end of the system down into place, ensuring that the remaining standoffs engage with their associated J-slots. You can use your free hand to hold the rail against the side of the chassis if needed. Push the system forward until it locks into place. Then press the slide release buttons on the sides of the rails and push the server into the rack until the latches on the chassis lock into the rail brackets. The method for installing the 1U system with one person is similar to a two-person installation, except that the system is held on the sides rather than the front and the back. And the system can be held at a steeper angle for better visibility while inserting the rear standoffs into the rear J-slots on the rails. After that, it's the same as for the 2U. To remove the system from the rack, first lift the latches on the chassis and extend the system out of the rack until the rails lock into place. Then rotate the lock levers on each side and pull the system forward until the rail standoffs are at the fronts of the J-slots. Hold the system at the front and back ends and lift it straight up and out of the rails. The 2U system requires two people for removal, but the 1U system can be removed by one person if needed, using the same technique. The rail design has a self-adjusting mechanism that accommodates different depths of systems, offering compatibility across multiple models. For example, the 8 hard drive version of the R620 slides into place in the usual manner. In comparison, the deeper 10 hard drive version of the R620 slides in most of the way, then encounters some slightly higher resistance before it is fully seated. Simply continue pushing on the system to activate the self-adjusting spring-loaded brackets until the latches on the chassis lock into place. Note that the cable management arm also shifts back with the rails, but with its unique spring-loaded design, it does not require special cabling, routing, or an additional service loop. Dell's ReadyRails 2 sliding rails provide a fast and easy way to install 12th generation systems into your rack.